B-Max Audio Adventure. This is BJJ365, and I'm joined today by two lovely people. I'll let them introduce themselves. Let's start with you. You're particularly attractive.
Yes, my name is Lindsey.
Lindsey, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am married to this guy
Who?
over here, Brandon McCatherine.
Oh, you are one good-looking lady.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. What do you do? The jiu-jitsu in or something?
Yeah, sometimes.
What do you? Blue belt?
Mm-hmm.
What do you?
No. I'm a brown belt.
Under who? Who gave you a brown belt?
Someone wonderful.
Oh, that. Okay, good job, Lindsey. Good job on the introduction. And who are you?
My name is Fabiana.
Continue. Do you have a last name or just that one?
Fabiana George. Mm-hmm. Not Jorge.
Because
Please.
it's Brazilian.
Because yeah.
Not.
Yeah. It's Portuguese.
Not
yeah.
Espanolish.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you doing? Like, what's up? You do jiu-jitsu or what?
I do. I'm a purple belt.
Well, all right. And you are just hanging out here with us for the week.
Yeah.
So what's going on? Why are you here? What's the situation?
So I'm getting ready for the 10th Planet EBI qualifier, which is in November, the second weekend of November. So I'm getting ready for that.
But why here?
Because you're a wizard.
That's right. You tell these people. No, so we've gotten to train together a couple of times over the years, and
since white belt.
Since you were a white belt, that was the first time that we trained together was in Nebraska. Is that right?
Yeah.
Look at that. You see that, Jones?
Good memory.
Got that memory.
I didn't even remember that you'd been in Nebraska.
Yeah, I went and taught at Derek Stewart's school.
Yeah. We did a private lesson there, and
that was my first time rolling since my neck surgery.
Oh wow, I didn't know the neck surgery was that long ago.
Yep, that was my first time. Well, it was the first time that I was supposed to roll after my neck surgery.
Right, you got back pretty early, didn't you?
Yeah, I did some stupid things I shouldn't have done, but luckily it worked out okay. Yeah, because I'm awesome. But I don't ever. I think that's the number one thing that makes me the saddest about the legacy that I'm leaving here is like I'll watch guys like Eric the other day. Eric went to the doctor for his elbow, which looks like a total train wreck, by the way.
It's black, just a black elbow
and swole. Yeah. And Eric's not a black dude, so it's a problem. You know what I mean? So, man, the doc was like, "You need to take 6 to 8 weeks off," and Eric was like, And so anyway, he trains that night.
Yeah, he gets back home. He's like, maybe I'll train tonight.
Yeah. Like, man, I've left a bad example for a lot of these guys and doing stuff like that. Like, I don't really do it that way as much anymore. I'm better about it. I am better.
Well, do you think that's just you, or do you think that that's like a badge of honor kind of thing in the jiu-jitsu community?
I think both of those things. I think they see, well, Brandon fought through it. Brandon trained anyway. If you want to get there, then you got to do it that way. But that's not true. Like, you don't have to do it. In fact, you shouldn't do it necessarily the way I've done it. So I wish that when he needs 6 weeks off, he'd take 4. You know, call it a happy medium. But I don't know. I got to do better with my example in that. Because I told him, I was like, please don't train. And then here he comes. Bad times. Okay, so anyway, tell us a little more about what you got going on. You got the EBI qualifier at 115 pounds on November the 11th.
Yes.
And so you decided, you came out here and spent a week. When was this?
It was, oh gosh, it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I spent a week here, and then I went back to Colorado, spent a week there, and I was like, okay, I got to go back now. 2 weeks here now.
Yep.
Leaving on the 30th.
Do you feel like it's been beneficial? Like, tell everybody about your time training here so far.
Oh, it's been
Which
great.
has been a little over 2 weeks now.
Yeah, now it's been more than that. It's been great. I've been fixing a lot of things, a lot of holes, and perfecting things that I already like to do. So that was huge for me, especially last night. That was awesome.
You had a really big breakthrough last night.
Yeah.
And it took we had to chisel away at it for like an hour, almost an hour and a half.
Yeah, to figure it out.
But we did it, and
good.
you had like a instant change once your body locked on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why most people don't get good at a thing, is they're not willing to do that deep work. Like, dude, it was an hour and a half of frustration, honestly.
Yeah, pretty much.
For you were frustrated for sure. Well, I was like, nope, we're gonna do it again.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do it again. Just chip away, and then it snaps. So Eddie used to talk about having a magic number on repetitions.
Right.
And he'd say, everybody's got a magic number, and yours might be 50 and yours might be 500, but you need to go until it locks in, until you have that moment where it like snaps into place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you had with that dogfight position last night. It just, boom, snapped into place, and I saw you do it several times today.
Yep.
Just incorporated straight into your live training. So the trick for me is we have to find a way to address it as something that you already know.
Yeah.
So there's something inside of this movement, regardless of what it is, that you already know deeply. If you're you're a purple belt, like you've been training a long time, you're a high level purple belt, you're dealing with you have to do high level problem solving. So you've got to have a base of fundamental movement, a base of even, advanced movement. And so the idea is to find the philosophy or do it just like you do this.
Mm-hmm.
Know the feeling you get when you do that thing you already know.
Yeah.
That's the feeling you're looking for here. But sometimes they don't seem related.
Yeah.
And so having to bring it together and put it, spend some time cooking.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I love it.
What do you think about training with another high-level female? It's a nice change of pace for you.
It is. I was telling Brandon while I was watching you roll that, like, your forward movement is really well balanced. Like, it doesn't feel like you can really be like pressured one way or the other to, like, how if somebody's head is on the same side as their hip when they're passing and stuff, you can kind of go off to the side and stuff like that. It seems like your pressure and your forward movement is really balanced, and it's really good. Your passing is really good.
Thank you.
Very good. Very good passing on the outside. You do a good job of like stepping with your, like, like the way when you watch Ethan Krellinston,
yeah,
the way that he passes the guard.
He's one of my favorite passers.
Yeah, it's obvious. It's obvious on you. We haven't even talked about that, but it's obvious on your game, like that style of passing is something that you gravitate towards, and you do well with it.
I watched him warming up for one of his tournaments, and I was just mesmerized.
Yeah.
And since then, I wanted to replicate it.
Well, you're doing a fine job. Keep going. Got a ways to go, but
for sure,
you're on the right path with that for sure. You play a good leg drag. Actually, your leg drag positioning is good, which is unusual. Normally, people are a little soft on their leg drag positioning. Like, they get to the spot, no problem. But their positioning is soft, and so they don't make the next play that they need to accurately because they missed the position. But you do the positioning well. I don't enter well. My positioning's fine.
Or you were saying her back game was getting really well, like, or you had fine-tuned some things on her back.
Yeah, I've just tried to didn't really even teach you anything new necessarily. Just, this is what you're doing here. I want you to do it this way. Like, just tweak,
Mm-hmm.
just like turning the knobs, basically, rather than trying to implant something new.
Yeah, just perfecting that movement of the chair sit from everywhere, flying chair sits, all that. That was huge last week.
Yeah, I mean, I really feel like you've leveled up pretty dramatically while you've been here.
All Rafiki.
Rafiki. She's been calling me Rafiki. Follow Rafiki. He know that way. So, yeah, really happy to have you. I'm trying to entice her to stay. I don't know what I got to do, but I think the plan is, I think you're moving to San Diego, right?
Yes.
That's the goal. She's going to move out there and train with Boogie because, this is Alabama, so makes sense.
Yeah, but I'll be visiting for sure.
Oh,
so.
no, once you leave, you can never come back. So get what you can while you're here. Once you turn your back, it's over. This is some tasty water. We had Warrior Week this morning.
What is Warrior Week?
Well, we talked about Warrior Week just briefly on the podcast yesterday. Warrior Week is basically where these guys come in and get hazed for 2 hours. Like, it's a church group, and so guys sign up for it. It's usually like 5 or 6 people sign up for it. There's 5 this week. And what they're signing up for is marriage counseling. They do some just regular counseling. They go to the shooting range. They have to do like some Navy SEAL kind of stuff where they got to like do team building exercises, and then they takes them down, does like water training, and they got to carry like telephone poles through the sand, and they got to run a marathon basically like every day. I mean, it's straight torture. Oh, and by the way, 2 hours out of each day, they come here, and me and Scaff and whoever else, Old Man Mike, we just run Jacob. Good Lord, it's a disaster. Nobody could survive it, or not survive it, but nobody could. Yeah, why would you do it? But they love it. So what we do is we get out there and we basically just beat them for 2 hours. And they have, then we sit them down for like a little mat chat at the end of each session, and we're like, and so the guys who are running it, the leaders of the hazing week, the warrior week, they kind of have pointed questions that they're trying to guide them to. So these guys come in before they're like, you have to be accepted in, right? So they apply, and they have to send in a video about, all right, this is what I do, this is who I am, and this is a part of my life that I don't feel like I got it together. Like I keep falling apart here, whether that's my business or my marriage or whatever. And then if they're married, their wife has to send in a tape too. Like, okay, yeah, we talked about this. This is a struggle that we have, and, that kind of stuff. So, they're poking at that all week during the marriage counseling, and they're breaking these guys down physically so that they have to react emotionally, which most men just don't do well, And then, okay, that's the emotion you respond with. Let's talk about that. Let's dig in right there. Why is your first movement anger when you start breaking? Or why is your first movement sadness? Or why is your first movement emotionally to quit? Or whatever it is, And it sounds crazy, but what IV was saying, he was like, look, these guys, you don't need this, Brandon. You do this to yourself every day. Like, you know what I mean? But most of these guys, they're going and they're the boss at their work. There's nobody to beat up on them, even emotionally. Like, they're in charge. Or this guy's the director of this thing, or whatever. This guy's a CEO. This guy owns his own business. So they're not pushing themselves physically. And so IV comes in and he tries to just break them physically so that he can kind of cut into whatever it is that they're asking for help with. Because that's what's going on. These guys are asking for help. And so he just treats it like a counseling week. It's interesting to watch. But I don't know.
I think it's just interesting to watch, like, new guys come into jiu-jitsu and see, like, we've had several guys that have, like, oh, this has actually, like, helped my marriage, or this has, like, changed my life just because I get the crap beat out of me every day, or I get to, like, take out my physical frustrations on something or somebody, it's the whole, like, guys were once warriors, and now we sit at desks, it's, you've got a caveman inside that wants to beat the crap out of somebody and doesn't get to, gets to bottle all that up and then take it home to their wife and go, they get to be in charge of there. And
yeah. I think it's not just that the caveman's inside and needs to kill and club something over the head, but I think that everybody knows inside that they need to be defeated continually at something in order to press through.
Yeah, have some sort of struggle.
You got to have
struggle.
What grows?
Struggle, physical struggle.
What grows in life? Like, nothing organic and full of life grows without struggle. A seed struggles to break the earth and to find the sun. A small plant at the bottom of the forest struggles and chases. It grows towards the sun. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
just the active child. It's the struggle. Like nothing begins growing without struggle. And then every period of growth that you've ever been through in your life comes on the back end of struggle. Always.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always. You know, I used to go to church with this old black dude and when I was in Montgomery, and he would get up every Sunday and he would pray. And you know, when I'm saying old, this dude was old. And this is when I was in college. And he would get up every Sunday, and during his prayer he would say, "And Lord, thank you for all the sunshine, or for all the storms of life, because without those we would never learn to appreciate the sunshine." I was like, oh, I love this old man. And that dude was right. And you could see, you're talking about a 90, probably a 95-year-old man, black man in Montgomery, Alabama, probably understands a lot about the storms and what sunshine really does look like, So that's my message to you fine folks this evening. Learn to appreciate the storms, because all sunshine, dude, that's a desert. Nobody can live in that.
Well, that makes a crappy human too.
It does, man. No struggle.
I mean, think about the children that have been raised given everything they want out of life, and they've never had to save or desire something. I mean, when you see something that you want and then you have to save your money or you have to work towards it, that's goal setting and, going after things that you actually desire. But if somebody just hands you something, you're just going to be like, oh, cool, and then just throw it over your shoulder,
You got to have a little skin in the game to have appreciation, for sure. All right, closing thoughts, Fabi.
I don't know.
How about where can we follow you on Instagram?
It's FaGeorge, BJJ. So it's FaJorge BJJ.
Jump in Instagram.
What about those sponsors?
Oh, you mean
Flippy Floppers.
Toehold, the maker of the dopest flip-flops in all of flip-flop land? I think it would be cool if we could do, say, a giveaway of a free pair of flip-flops every month. How could we go about that, do you think? How could we decide who the winner could be?
I bet there's a plan.
Maybe screenshot this fine podcast right here on your iPhone or your Samsung, or if you got one of them Huawei phones that Joe Rogan's always talking about. They were talking about Huawei phones on his show today while I was listening. I don't even know what that means. But apparently, they're real cool. I don't know. But screenshot this podcast, however you're listening to it, and then share it on your Instagram. Especially share it on your stories on your Instagram. Tag me, tag Toehold, and then we'll enter you to win a free pair of flip-flops. That's about it for that sponsor. You could say also, hey man, I want a discount. I can't wait. I'm trying to pay for some super customized flip-flops. Slide in them DMs and mention this podcast, and he'll get you all set up just the way you like, girl.
What if I want one of those I Love Violence or Eric Habib shirt?
Oh, an Eric Habib. www.10p4l.com. Pick that up. Just follow me on my Instagram. Link in the bio. And that's it for today's podcast.